Hello friends, it's Sick Wicked Nasty here. I've decided that I am going to chronicle my journey up to KSM this patch. We're going to hit the highlights. I'm not going to show you full runs. We're just going to see all the chaos and confusion with the deaths and boss fights, more or less. So I hope you enjoy. We'll get right into episode 1 here. And we'll see if we can pick up on the first bit of fuckery. Well, that didn't take long. Here we are just trying to get past this little pack here, and our monk decides that instead of paralyzing and then ropping, he's going to rop and then paralyze, which in turn causes this pack to pull here in a minute. But we go on our merry way, just deciding what the fuck we're going to do here. So our tank has thus far proven that he doesn't exactly know our route. He skipped some guys a little earlier that was a questionable choice. But nonetheless, we get into this and everything seems to be going okay. At this point, we have no idea that we've pulled the previous pack, so we just get through this, and so far so good. Nobody's dying. Everything seems to be going all right. Just make fairly short work of these guys. No major issues. And then we decide we're gonna go in here and we're gonna grab our mushrooms. And no sooner do we decide we are going to grab our mushrooms that we get a surprise coming in hot, and then shit just goes south. Our tank tries picking up everything and almost dies. Our healer decides that he's worth saving and does some stuff, and then the tank says, "That big guy, no, you pulled him, he's yours." So I decide I'm going to start attacking him. Our poor little paladin had aggro on him, and he got the first bitch slap of the night. And then I follow shortly behind here with my wonderful kiting skills into a big ball of shit. So we decide that we're gonna release here and see if we can't make it back to help out with the end goal of killing these bastards. As luck would have it, we stroll up on the situation, and there's still lots of DPS to be had. So we run our way through these guys rather quickly, and then all the while this is going on, I have a child that is very angry beside me. So if you see me looking away wondering what the fuck is going on, that's because my 4-month-old has decided that he hates his life. And now we continue on. Now we've made it to the first boss, and it's not going super stellar so far, so I'm a little nervous as to see how we're gonna get through this. But for the most part, it's nothing crazy or exciting. We just get our damage into him here. I'm working on a new rotation, which is stacking up my clear casting charges to get a nice girthy touch of the Magi into the boss here. Halfway through this, I realized that putting my mirrors on this guy doesn't really fucking do anything for me, because he doesn't hit anything, thus not giving me any mirror stacks. So I mean, that sucked. But other than that, it went swimmingly. We got him down in a decent amount of time, and as you can see, my dick is bigger than everybody else's as DPS goes, which is neat. So we just we finish this guy off, and then we get into the next largely confusing part of our day. Now, I'm not trying to say our tank has no fucking clue what he's doing here, but he's the only Night Fae in the group, and, well, he doesn't seem to know what the fuck he's doing. Decides that this game is best played without a respawn point for deaths closer to our current objective. And I mean, not that we would ever die, but our, well, we're gonna die. This hasn't been going super great. It's a +7, by the way, so you know, we're starting high, just building some IO so that I can get accepted into higher pugs, because, you know, it doesn't matter what your last season score was. It completely depends on what you've been able to do this season, and I hadn't done a mists yet, so we got into a 7. So we make it through this pull, and I tell the tank to go back and get the fucking acorn, and he said he would absolutely love to, but I'm definitely going to have to show him where and what I'm talking about. So we head off in the wrong direction to educate our good friend the tank here on what exactly he needs to do as the only Night Fae in the group. So we set him up and show him the acorn. He's like, all right, this looks fucking sick, and we move on. Now, as we're pulling this pack, these Mist Veil defenders here, they throw out that spear flurry quite often, and as a melee, you would think that, especially as a melee that I know has ran this a couple times, that you think, you know, you're probably not standing that, but our paladin decides, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, and you know what, there's not a goddamn thing anybody can do about it. I'm just gonna now count these blades of grass and watch you guys finish this off, and then hopefully I get a res. Hopefully. Now onward to bigger and better things. We've made it through a couple of rooms now without any deaths. But here we go again. We're fighting some defenders. We got some roots going out, and wouldn't you know it, those roots don't allow you to get out of shit. So not such a big deal when you're out here in ranged, but when you're a melee class, like say a paladin, and you were to get rooted in a mechanic that might in fact one-shot you, it can be unfortunate, like that. Now we find ourselves at the next boss, and what could possibly go wrong with a tank that didn't know where the acorn was, right? I mean, of course he knows the mechanics. He's not gonna do anything silly like miss a patty cake interrupt or lose aggro on the boss or anything crazy like that, right? Like that would be silly. So we're gonna keep going on here, and then we're gonna start attacking the wrong guessing game. Yeah, we're gonna kill that one and be like, oh well, shit. Who knew that wasn't the right one? I actually didn't know what happened when you killed the wrong one. So now you know. So we change our focus over to the proper target here, and all of a sudden this fucking boss decides to come and slap me in the face and ask me to count grass petals. Petals? Leaves. Grass leaves. And then continues on to more or less butt fuck the rest of the group here into a wipe. So here we go again. We pick ourselves up off the mat, and we dust ourselves off, and I explain to the tank that he has to interrupt things and has to keep aggro on the boss for the entirety of the fight, and we get started here again. So we start going into it, going a little bit better this time. Nobody seems to be getting aggro off the boss. I get Arcane luck because, you know, watching more than one thing is hard at a time. And then we take a little longer and we calculate which is actually the correct one to kill this time as we find it and make it our bitch. And then we move on, and just as I try to give this tank some credit for being able to hold aggro, he allows our paladin to convince the boss to make him his bitch, and he's gonna count some grass again for us as we kill this boss and carry his ass once again. Now, as we continue the fight, we do our best to make sure we're staying alive and killing the things that need to kill, and then when we get our friendly little fox here to pop up, I decide I'm going to polymorph him because that seems logical, and then somebody else decides that that's a fucking terrible idea, so they help him out of that. And then we make our way into the tank, and you know what? Why not just freeze the tank for a minute and let him cool down, think about what he's done, and the rest of us will just stand here and try this again. And we next time the fox comes out, we froze him, and then I think I hit him with that arcane orb and got him loose again. Yeah, sure did. And then we'll send him into the boss, but he didn't make it this time. Didn't make it. The tank didn't get frozen, so that's a plus. We're improving our gameplay, and so close to almost not having that phase. But I wonder if we had 3 DPS up, if that could have been possible. But well, I guess we'll never know. So we continue on, kill this last game. Our fox, I got the poly, and they left him that time, so that was super fucking neat. And then the boss decided to come and hang out with me and give me a slap across the face. And then, yeah, we at the end of the day here tell him that he can die now. Things have been going well so far since the last boss and our 2 pulls, and the tank has decided that, oh, since we can't time this key anymore, that we should pull larger to speed things up. People forget that they have interrupts, so I go around and start spell stealing a whole bunch of shields that don't seem to fucking do anything, as for some reason this staghorn decides I'm his best friend and he would much rather pay attention to me than the tank. And I do my best to run away like a sad little bitch, and hopefully someone helps me kill him. And then the tank finally grabs him back just in time for us to make him go to fuck off land. Then we carry on with our day. So things get pretty interesting here. There's no way we're going to time this key at this point. We're super short on percentage, so we go into this and we get this pack down, and then at the end of this pull, I decide, you know what? I see a fucking shadow of a little flying dude ahead above me, so I'm going to bring him down and we're going to kill him before we go into the boss. And it turns out, being as I did not portray that as my plan to the tank, that the tank had a plan of his own, and it consisted of the following. So the tank fucks off, decides he's gonna go pull this boss. Now I've got this fucking little flyer on me, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Tank, can you talk to this guy? And the tank's like, nah, dude, you pulled it, you got it, right? So I overlap a bubble with my ice block, and the tank still doesn't bother to taunt this little flying dude. So I throw out my mirror images and give him something to slap for a couple of minutes, and we continue on our merry way. Everybody's still alive at this point, so that's great. Mind you, they're alive, but they all forget that they have interrupt buttons, and we end up getting a parasite onto one of our friends, and that ends up inevitably killing him. So this fight, it becomes very interesting. I'll just let you watch and enjoy. And just like that, our group of 5 quickly becomes a group of 3 because not standing in green swirly things is hard. So we continue this fight, and we make our way through with a single DPS and a tank and a healer, and yeah, he's dodging swirly things on the ground. It's tough. Now I've had about enough of this flying asshole, so I decided that I'm going to waste some of my DPS on him just to get him the fuck out of here, because there's no one left to cleave him. So it all is up to me. So we put some damage into him, make him go to fuck off land, and then it's just the boss and all of his little minions. So after a glorious 4-minute boss fight on a non-tyrannical week, we, +7, we invite our other 2 dead friends to rejoin us as we go and clear the last bit of trash, so we can describe this adventure as a complete and utter victory on our way to KSM. And with that, the other 2 DPS politely thank me for the carry, and we go on our merry way.